Hey folks, imagine you're about to host a small gathering and you've promised to serve fresh, home-roasted coffee. You've already bought a decent grinder, you've got the beans, but now you stare at a countertop that's just a regular popcorn maker and wonder if that's really going to give you the consistent roast you need. You don't want to end up with a batch that's half under-roasted and half burnt, and you definitely don't want to waste a few $100s on equipment that turns out to be more of a novelty than a workhorse. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks digging through forums, reading up on small batch coffee roasters, and even watching a handful of homebrew videos where people actually use a commercial-style drum roaster in a kitchen. The model we're talking about today is a generic electric drum roaster that promises a 0999 timer, adjustable temperature controls, a removable inner drum for easy cleaning, and the ability to handle both coffee beans and other items like nuts or dried beans. It's marketed as a commercial machine that can sit on a counter or be tucked into a modest commercial space. The question is whether that hype translates into something useful for you, whether you're a serious home enthusiast, a small-scale CAF owner, or just someone who likes to experiment with flavors. First, let's talk about who this machine actually serves. If you're the type of person who enjoys the ritual of pulling your own beans and you've already invested in a good grinder, this roaster could be a logical next step. The capacity, while not spelled out in the spec sheet, looks to be around 2 to 3 pounds per batch, judging from the drum size. That means you can pull a full weekend's worth of beans in one go, achieving a uniform roast thanks to the rotating drum and the stainless steel heating tube. The built-in timer is a real plus for people who need repeatable results. You can set it, walk away, and come back to a batch that's essentially ready to cool. That's perfect for small calves that need to keep a steady flow without constantly monitoring the beans. On the other side of the coin, if you're just dabbling in coffee or you only need to roast a few ounces for a single cup, this might be overkill. The drum size and the need to preheat the unit before each batch means you'll end up with a lot of idle time between roasts. For someone who just wants a quick pop-in-pop-out roasting experience, a smaller, more portable roaster would likely be a better fit. Also, if your kitchen is already cramped, the footprint of this machine, a full-size drum with a sturdy base, could become a nuisance. It's not a compact unit you can tuck behind a toaster. Now, let's get into the practical strengths. The most immediate benefit is the consistency you can get from the drum design. Unlike hot air roasters that rely on a single point of heat, the drum rotates the beans while the whole chamber heats evenly, which minimizes hotspots. In real-world testing, that translates to a smoother progression from the first crack to the second crack, allowing you to stop at light, medium, or dark roasts with confidence that you're not missing a flavor nuance. The removable inner drum is also a thoughtful touch. After roasting, you can simply pull it out, dump the beans, and rinse the drum without wrestling with stubborn residue, something that can be a big pain point with non-removable chambers. Another practical advantage is the multipurpose claim. Users who also like to roast nuts, cacao nibs, or other dried items will appreciate the ability to switch from coffee beans to, say, almonds without buying a separate appliance. The temperature range is wide enough to handle those different products, and the timer lets you fine-tune each batch. I saw a video where a creator used the same machine to roast pumpkin seeds for a snack, then immediately followed up with a coffee batch, all without having to clean the drum in between, just a quick shake and a rinse. Of course, there are some trade-offs that show up when you actually start using the roaster day to day. The most noticeable is the heat up time. Because the heating tube is stainless steel and designed for a commercial capacity, you'll need about 5 minutes just to get the drum up to the starting temperature before you even start counting down the timer. That's not a deal breaker, but it does mean you have to plan ahead if you're on a tight schedule. Additionally, the noise level is higher than you might expect. The motor that rotates the drum makes a steady hum, and when the fan kicks in during cooling, you'll hear a faint whirring that can be noticeable in an open kitchen. If you're working in a quiet office space or a small apartment, that could be mildly irritating. Another point to consider is the learning curve. Even though the interface looks simple, a dial for temperature and a digital timer, getting consistent